Good morning. Merry Christmas. Hi there, everyone. I hope you are enjoying your day and spending lots of time with the people you love the most. I wanted to do this broadcast for those who do not have special loved ones to spend the holiday with, or may be alone today for one reason or another. It has been a few years since I have had to be alone on the holidays, but I know what it is like and certainly remember how lonely it can feel. Having been a single mom and my extended family is small and spread out, when my girls went away for school, work, life in general, I spent holidays on my own. I remember the first Christmas I was alone. I was so depressed and spent the whole day in bed crying. Well, the next Christmas, I decided I wasn't going to do that again. So I took myself to the movies. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. There were so many other people spending Christmas alone too. That year, I never enjoyed a hot dog so much. It tasted like the best dinner I had ever had. And I spent my afternoon in the theater with all the other people who were alone too. It was quite magical, actually. And ever since then, if I ever find myself alone on a holiday, this is what I do for myself. And as a bonus, they always have great movies out for the holiday season. If you are alone today, please know you are not alone. We are here for you and we are together. I wish I could offer you a hot dog, but sorry, you will have to just settle for our sentiments and stories instead. So now I will go to the girls and hear what they have to add. Okay, Tina, take it away.
Merry Christmas, everybody. How are you today? I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you're watching from. So, I've not ever experienced being alone on Christmas. However, my husband and I have experienced being apart from our daughter. That happened when she was away at college and we were out west working at the time. So, that was kind of our first Christmas apart. And, it was challenging, but neither one of us were alone, and we were surrounded by friends during that holiday season. And just something that always is a family tradition is when I was younger, I always used to say Merry Christmas instead of Christmas. I have an uncle who teases me all the time, and he greets me that way every Christmas season. So Merry Christmas, everybody, and I hope you find some enjoyment today and you have some good treats. One good treat that is from the Maritimes that I love is mocha cakes. And if you want to Google that, basically all it is a little pound cake dredged in icing sugar, and then you roll it in peanuts. If you don't have a peanut allergy, mwah, they're beautiful. Otherwise, turkey all the way.
That sounds really good, Tina. I might Google that myself. Yeah. Okay, Pam, your turn.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh my goodness. Christmas morning is an exciting time, especially when you have kids coming to visit or if you have kids that you're going to go visit, because in our family, wherever the kids was, we were up before dawn and going visiting the kids. We had to see the kids open their gifts. But way back when I was just a little girl, we didn't have a whole lot back then. And one of my most memorable Christmases as a child was Mom used to pick out the toys, I guess, and she didn't realize, well, she went out shopping and she was on a budget, so she had to pick up what she could afford. So Christmas morning, I got up, and when I opened my gift, I had an Evel Knievel. Well, my little brother was there, and he was quite happy when I opened my Evel Knievel. So I sat back, I opened my treat bag. We had a brown paper bag, and it was an apple, and it was a small pack of chips. So I sat back with my treat bag, and I had my cup of tea, and I watched my little brother play with my Evel Knievel. I was thinking to myself, like, Mom, you could have picked out something better. But hey, after that, my older sister helped Mom pick out the Christmas things. So next time I had a little sewing machine that I used to put on, screw on the edge of the table, and Mom would get to her big sewing machine and I'd get to mine, and we'd work away. But that's a couple of the traditions that we had when we were growing up. And now, wherever the kids are, we get there, whether it be FaceTime or whatever, because I'm one of 6 children. And there has been a time when I've been the only one on the island and everybody else been away. And you know what my family did? They did a video saying, look, we're all together. And I was saying, you mean bunch. But anyway, every year when I'm alone or I'm lonely, I put on that tape and I get to watch all my family. Because you see, I lost my mom and my dad and my sister. So now I'm one of 6, but some of the 6 is not here anymore. But never feel like you're alone, because on Christmas Day, here in our little communities, after dinner is cleaned up, and it's dinner here, 12 o'clock is dinner, not supper time. Supper time is 5 o'clock in Newfoundland. So when we get our dinner cleaned up, a bunch of us get together and we go visit houses. Everybody looks forward to seeing somebody on Christmas. Their door might not open for weeks on end and not see anyone. But hey, on Christmas Day, I've been known to go around with my boombox on my shoulder. And when I went in through the door, everybody was saying after Christmas was over, thank goodness Christmas is over. When I go in through the door, I go, Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho. And we'd have a well of a time. And we get back in the wee hours of the evening and we all sit around Mom's table and have supper. That is a little bit of my Christmas tradition. Enjoy, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Pam. That sounds just awesome. It sounds like so much fun going door to door. I don't think we do enough of that anymore. We've kind of lost that a bit. I think we need to get that back. Maybe not in Newfoundland, but we need to get that back in the other areas of the world, going door to door and seeing each other. Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Okay, Janice, your turn.
Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. That was a great tradition, Pam. Oh my goodness. When I grew up, there was my brother and myself, and looking back, and my mom and dad, of course. And Christmas was always very exciting. You came downstairs, you saw your gifts, and thinking back, I can remember. I was trying to think back the other day, all the different gifts I've received at Christmas time from my parents, and how far back I could remember. And I think I could remember back as far as I was maybe 3 years old, the gifts that I got from 3, 4, and 5 years of age. And yeah, that was wonderful. And we always used to, my mother was the eldest of 10 children, and my dad, he was the youngest of 6, and he was a twin. We would always spend most of the time with my mom's side because my dad's side was sort of spread out a bit. But we would go over to her sister's house. They would alternate year after year. One year we would go there for Christmas, and another year we'd come back to my mom's place. And one year we had it where the siblings that she had came to our place. And my mom and dad's place was just a tiny little place. And we she put I don't know where they got the tables from, but she put tables and whatnot into the basement. And we had all the dinner and everything in the basement, up and down the basement stairs with all the food. And, or some of her siblings that were able to come. And one of them, she lived out in Saskatchewan. So, she wasn't able to come. There was never a time when they were all together once again. I remember that. And then as the years went on, we then, one year it would be, we would go back and forth. And then my aunt, she moved up to where her son lives up. It was up in just around Barrie area, near Innisfil. And then we would then go up to their place all the time. But my mom, she passed away years ago when my twins were born. And we would continue to go up to his place. And there'd be, then we would have our kids go up and all of that. And that was great. And after that, he would have some of his wife's children come up, and we would have, the table would go on forever with family. But last year he moved out to BC. So I thought, well, now I'm going to have to carry on some sort of tradition to have all of our family together. So I have 5 daughters. So, and in turn, I have 5 grandchildren. So everyone all came to our house, as well as my cousin's wife's son and his wife and their 2 kids. So I think I had close to 23 for dinner last year. And my house is not small. So I rented 2 tables, and I put them out in the living room and extended it it was in the dining room, and 2 tables in the living room, but we all made it work. So, that was a very busy Christmas. And then with all the noise and everything that goes on, that was fun as well. But I remember a few years ago, one of my daughters, she was living with her husband and her little one in San Francisco. They lived there for 16 years. And that was it was like the worst thing for me when you don't have all of your family together. And I'm just thinking about it now. Sorry. Anyway, she's now living in Toronto, which is great. But it was like what you were saying about getting together, and you would see the video, and then, you'd be on FaceTime. And then afterwards, when you'd hang up, you had to get back to feeling kind of normal, but it wasn't, because that someone was far away and they weren't together with you. But anyway, that was an experience. And now that everybody's all together, I'm now carrying on the tradition where we host everyone, and it's wonderful to have people. I think we're not going to have quite as many this year. I think I'm going to have maybe 15 or 16 for dinner, including my husband's mom, who's 95, and his youngest brother. So we're going to do 2 Christmases, because one of my other daughters, she has to go to up to her husband's family with her little one. So I won't have one of my daughters with me, but we're doing 2 Christmases. So tomorrow we're doing a brunch. And then on Monday rather, we'll do, the traditional turkey dinner and everything else. So that's my Christmas for everyone. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And everyone, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Janice. That was great. And you're very fortunate to be able to have that many people together. Not everybody is that fortunate. But that's wonderful for you. That's great. Okay, Shanaz, your turn. Yeah, you have done. Yeah, there you go.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to everyone. My story is a little bit strange, because I have a small family. Me and my husband and 2 children they are growing up. But my oldest one used to be in New York, and she had a problem with the entry visa. She had to stay in New York. So we want to surprise her, but we didn't know how to do that. So we booked a hotel. We couldn't afford to get the airplane ticket because of 3. It was too much. Me, my husband, my other daughter. So we said, okay, let's do economic way, rent the car and go buy the car. But I said to my daughter, darling, I have somebody coming to New York. So because you cannot come, I'm sending you a gift. Could you go to such and such a hotel and pick up your gift? She said, what is her name? Suddenly I said, Mrs. C. Mrs. Simon come in. So she said, okay, Mama, how she look like? I said, she's an ordinary lady, my age, almost look like me. So I said, okay, Mama, I would do that. So we tried. The road condition was terrible because of the snow. We tried so hard to reach there. Exactly the moment we parked the car in the driveway of hotel, my daughter is walking to the hotel. So she goes to the front desk and says in here, I am here to meet Mrs. Simmons, and could you please ask her, let her know I am here. So I went and I stood behind my daughter, and the lady checked and says, I'm sorry, we don't have Mrs. Simmons in our list. And my daughter said, can't be, because it's a friend of my mother and she's in here, they give me the information. I tap on her shoulder. I said, that's me, Shada. She couldn't believe it. She started crying, but she couldn't believe that's me, not Mrs. Simmons. So we had a simple but a great moment together. That was my memory. Thank you. And yes, I totally understand the feeling of being loneliness. Absolutely. Because I don't have anybody in here from my own sibling, my own family, except my husband and my children. So which one is missing is a very hard felt, sadness. And we didn't want to on a Christmas to feel that way. So that was the idea came up with me, and it turned out good. Yeah, so I'm wishing to everyone the greatest health and happiness, to celebrate together for any reason you can find. Don't let yourself to be down, because you are not alone. And many other people even have a much difficult time than us, especially this year's. The life is not that easy for everyone. So just be grateful for what you have this moment, and the magic is on the way to your life, to your family. I love you all the people who they feel lonely. Just be happy for no reason, just the theme of the Christmas, and ho, ho, ho. All the best to everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you, Shanaz. That was very nice and very beautiful. And it brought a different memory to my mind when my daughter was away out west working, and she came home and just surprised me. I can't remember if it was for a holiday or just for a visit. And it was not pretty. I was a mess. I was like, I don't do surprises well. And so I was like crying for a while. I was so, because, you get in the mode of being alone and doing alone and not expecting people to be around. And then all of a sudden they're there. It's like, oh my God, I was so happy. Yeah, so I get it totally. That was a great story. Thank you. Okay, Elena, your turn.
Buon Natale a tutti. Merry Christmas. And yes, there's a lot of memories, a lot of traditions. Being Italian, we celebrate Christmas Eve. We also celebrate Christmas Day, but like last night, it was a little tough. My son is not here, but I know what it's like to have somebody far away. But anyway, the good thing is that we have FaceTime, so we can see each other that way. But growing up at home, we used to all gather in one house, and we all my aunts and my cousins and everything. We would all have our special dinner, which would be fish, and we would wait till midnight God bless us, we wait till midnight to open our gifts. We would, like have our big meal, and, because we always set for having dinner around 5:30, 6 o'clock, but there was always somebody had to work late or whatever. So by the time dinner was done, this big, huge table, we had to have 14 dishes. 7 of them had to be fish, and 7 of them had to be vegetables. I don't even know the rhythm of that one, but anyway, my mom still wants to keep that tradition, and there's only 4 of us right now because we don't celebrate with our family, like our extended families anymore. They all have their own, little families and stuff. And, my brother goes away, my sister goes away. So 4, meaning that it would be myself, my husband, my mother, and my father. And my daughter, her husband celebrates they're Greek. So sorry. So they celebrate Christmas Eve as well. So I don't see her on Christmas Eve. And so there's the feel of a loneliness right there. But growing up, like I said, we would wait till midnight. We would just push, but we were playing cards. We were keeping active. And one of our traditions is the nougats, like almond. It's just egg whites and almonds and stuff and nougats. And then I don't have panettone, but it's yeast bread that we would have with raisins in it or chocolate or whatever. So, I mean, besides the table being so full of food, we'd clear that out, and then all the desserts come up. And we had enough sugar to keep us awake till midnight. And we were waiting anxiously to open up our gifts. And of course, all of a sudden, from neatness, it went to a disaster because all the presents were all opened at once. Nobody knew who got from who or for what, but that was the fun part. That was the warm time of getting together, and we did that also when when my kids were small. And it wasn't until not too long ago that they're all now adults, and we all have different lives, and we have to just embrace what we have. So Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Elena. I certainly can feel how you feel. I've been there when your kids first are away. When it first happens, it's so hard. Now I'm kind of used to it. It's been years. Like, you kind of get used to it. Like I say, I take myself to the movies now when I find myself all alone. But you never like it, but you don't get as upset as you do when it first starts happening. So it does get better. And the nice thing, like all of you have mentioned, which I didn't have when my kids first left home, was FaceTime, which is wonderful, right? Like you can have them right in your living room and talking to them. So that is a real bonus for sure. So thank you. And your tradition, I just wanted to mention one of my family traditions because it sparked a memory when you were talking. The one tradition I absolutely hated when I was a kid was we would get up, of course, really early Christmas morning to open our Christmas gifts. And we couldn't touch our gifts or anything till everybody was up. So we had to wait until everybody was up, which if you're like an early riser, which I was, it's like agony. But anyways, that's not the worst part. The worst part after that, after everybody was up, we'd have to wait for mom and dad to get their, coffee or their tea and whatever and get settled. And then the kids, there was 4 of us, had to stand there and around the Christmas tree looking at our gifts and sing Christmas carols to my parents. It was like, oh my God, I just want to open the gifts. I mean, it was probably nice for mom and dad for us to sing Christmas carols. So I never carried on that tradition, I just have to say. So I just wanted to share that when you were talking about that. That could kind of just spark that memory for me. It was like, oh yeah, that's one tradition I didn't carry on. Okay, so I hope, there you go, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our little holiday soiree. And if you are alone, I hope it made you feel a little less alone. Spending Christmas alone doesn't have to be lonely. Do something you love to do. Use the time to reflect, relax, and appreciate the simple joys around you. Sending warm holiday hugs your way. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Christmas.